Hi, honeys. It's Michelle and Zelda, and we're here to do. Am I boring you already? I'm here to do another coffee chat. Bless you. You okay? You're purring, so you must be okay. I just wanted to do some updates, tell you what's been going on lately. I haven't really been able to vlog, and some of the things I want to tell you about, I wouldn't vlog because it'd be kind of gross to show you. On Christmas Eve, Brad and I went to midnight mass, and we had a good time. It was a very beautiful service. This was a new church for us. We used to go to a different church in the area, and it just didn't feel like our home. For me, I feel like going to church sometimes makes me feel further away from God, and going to church and not going to church makes me feel closer to God. It's this weird thing with me. I have a really hard time with most of the churches I've gone to, and some of the things that I see going on, or maybe the way some of the people that go there act, that kind of thing. It just, unfortunately, I've got quite the sour taste in my mouth. And so we did try a new church. I don't know. I think what we might do is just go occasionally, not regularly, because of those feelings. I don't like that feeling further away feeling that I get. But we had a really good time. And then we got all dressed up, which was nice. And it was kind of disappointing. Not everybody was dressed up, but I guess that's just how it is now. You know, we were both raised that when you go to church, you get very dressed up. And then afterwards, the only place we could find that was open was Denny's. And this was about 1:30 in the morning, but we were hungry. And it was cold outside, and we ran in there, and there was Christmas lights in the Denny's, and we both ate, and we had nice conversation. And there was something about it for me that just felt very kind of mystical and romantic. I don't know. It was weird. It just was a really lovely night. And then we went home, we went to bed, and then the next day was Christmas. And we really didn't have a very good Christmas, if I'm honest with you. So I got to backtrack here. I went off birth control on Thursday. Would have been the day that I started taking my next packet of birth control. So by Saturday, I was going through birth control withdrawals, or estrogen withdrawals. I was having mood swings. Poor Brad. And I was having migraines. Hormonal migraines, I think, personally, are the worst migraines. That's just my opinion, but they're just awful. So I was not in a good mood, and we're trying to get in the Christmas spirit, but we just couldn't. The one time I think I felt it was probably at midnight mass, but it just wasn't clicking for us this year. And so then I go to make this breakfast that I make every year, and I forgot that you don't put the pie crust in the oven and bake it first. You put it in there raw. So by the time everything was cooked, it was burnt on the bottom, and it was hard as a rock. And it just kept going from there. Everything that I cooked, I messed up, or I burnt, or I didn't cook right. I don't know. And the dinner just tasted kind of weird. It didn't taste the way it normally does. I think because I just had such a weird energy about me. I really do think that the energy we put out goes into the food. I mean, that's part of why I like to cook, is I like to, think about how much I love who I'm cooking for and kind of put some nurturing into it. But when I'm in a bad mood, I don't think my food tastes very good. So we ended up watching, it was a Leonardo DiCaprio movie with Jennifer Lawrence. I can't remember, what was it called? Don't Look Up. Thank you, baby. And I actually did like it. I could see why some people didn't, but I did. It was one of those things. And then later, after we ate, we watched Christmas Vacation, which was enjoyable, but not as enjoyable as it usually is, because I was just in quite the Grinch mood. I just was. So that was probably one of my least favorite Christmases ever, or maybe my least favorite, just because of my hormones and me ruining all the food. And I mean, it was just not a good time. I wanted to have a good day, but I just didn't. And poor Brad had to be with me that whole day by himself. So I do have some good news, though. We got the house that we wanted. We got house number 3, the one that is 2 stories, and we are super excited. And I'll give you a tour of the house after we get the keys. That'll be a couple weeks from now, but we've got it. We've got all the deposits and down payments and all that stuff paid, and we've been approved by the landlord and all that stuff. So everything's good to go. It's our house, and we're very excited. I just hope the next 2 weeks goes by smoothly, because there's a lot of packing to do, and we still have to live here for at least 2 weeks, and I hate living here, so I want to get out of here as quick as possible. It's just one of those things. So hopefully we're able to figure all that out. So I need to start packing. I mean, I've been packing, but just a little tiny bit, and I need to really get on that. And it's just exciting, because I feel like it's starting a new chapter of our lives. Brad and I, it seems like the chapters of our lives have to do with where we were living at the time. So we'll label different places we lived. And that's always that chapter when we go back. You remember we were living there? Oh yeah, that chapter. So it does feel like a new chapter, and we're excited. But I have been laid up now since Wednesday. The reason I went off birth control was because my doctor felt that an IUD would be in my best interest for a multitude of reasons. So you have to go off birth control, and then X amount of days later, you have to get the IUD. So I went in to get the IUD. I go in to get it done, and well, it found it excruciating. Of course. I'm just one of those people where, like if you look at a label and it says may cause blank, 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 that will probably be what happens to me. I don't know why. It's just how my body is. So I go in there, and he immediately mentioned, okay, so you have never been in labor before. So your cervix, the opening is very small. So I have to dilate it. And when he dilated it, I started having just the most immense pain, and I was seeing stars. I'm trying to breathe, and my brain, have you ever had your brain just scream at you about something? My brain started screaming, get it out. And I'm like, why is my brain screaming that to me? But I thought, well, whatever. Maybe I just want this process to be over with, So I'm trying to breathe, and the nurse is like, are you okay? You're being really good about this. And I'm thinking, isn't this what everybody goes through? Well, then I found out after the fact, the doctor ends up telling me that when you dilate the cervix, and it's a real small cervix like mine, and you dilate it as fast as he dilated mine, it puts women into, they get contractions. He said if you think about it, that's what happens when you go in labor. Your cervix starts dilating and you get contractions. That's what causes the contractions. So I got to feel contractions like I was in labor, except I wasn't in labor. And I didn't know ahead of time that was going to happen. Maybe it was better that he didn't tell me. But it causes a lot of pain, because when somebody's in labor, the cervix opens up slowly, right? But he went all at once. So it was just insane how painful it was. And most women don't have to go through that. I'm not trying to scare anybody into not getting one. It's just my circumstances happen to be that way. then they have to kind of create like a, a field that they go in, or a route that they go in. And it turns out I have a uterus that's difficult or something. So he had to like really move around in there a lot and to get to the right route. It was awful, to be honest. And so when it was over, they were both so worried about my pain. Now, like I said, I didn't know that's what I had been feeling till he told me. But even when he told me, it really didn't register what he was saying. So they're like, just take all the time you need laying here, and then when you're able to get up, get up. And I just want to go home. So I get up, I'm trying to power through it, and I'm standing there talking to the gynecologist, and my legs are shaking, and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. And I'm thinking, he's probably thinking, wow, just go lay down. But I just wanted to power through it. I want to be strong. I don't like showing weakness to people, and maybe that's a flaw. I don't know. But I just wanted to go home. And they had told me on the phone, oh yeah, when you come in and get it done, you can just drive yourself, because it's really not painful at all. And it's really easy and fast. And boy, the person that told me that didn't know my circumstances, though. And I wish I knew how painful it would be, because I never would have drove myself. And the walk from in the apartment where we have to park as opposed to where we live is actually kind of a ways. And I was not wanting to walk that walk. But when I called Brad and told him what happened, it was very sweet. When I got home, he was outside waiting for me to make sure I got up through the, half the parking lot and up the stairs okay. So that was really nice of him. But boy, it has been quite the ride. I have been in a lot of pain, and I don't know when it's going to go away, since this is not apparently the norm. I guess a lot of women don't go through all of this. But for me, it's been kind of like menstrual cramps, but worse, very sharp. The first day was really bad because I kept getting those contraction feelings, like the uterus kind of going like this. And then after that, that part has gone away. That was the most painful part by far. Wow. Now that I know what that feels like, I'm glad I've never been in labor. Mom, sorry. I don't know how women do it. Some of these women that have a bunch of kids, it's like, wow, you go back for that? You go back for more of that for another kid? I mean, I know they say when you see your baby, all the memories of that pain go away, but I didn't have a beautiful baby to look at after I went through that. I just had to drive home and like lay around, and it was awful. So I am still in pain. I'm trying to be active, but I'm actually having to be kind of patient with myself, because when I'm up and around and doing stuff, it tends to start hurting again. So hopefully that goes away soon. Hopefully everything is fine. It's supposed to be 5 years of birth control, which is nice. And it's a way to get estrogen out of your body. The reason that I went off of estrogen is I've been on it for a long time, a lot longer than you're supposed to be on it. And I am at a high risk for having a stroke because of that. And so he wanted to get me off the estrogen as soon as possible and get me on progesterone, whatever it's called, the other hormone. If you're interested in getting one after all that I just said, it is 5 years of birth control, and it gives a lot of women lighter periods, which is really nice. And all that you have to do if you want to have children or anything is you just have to go to a gynecologist and have it removed. But it seems really nice, and it's a lot cheaper than the birth control that I've been paying for. And most women don't experience the kind of pain that I did. But most women, when they go to get an IUD, from what I was reading, most of the women that do that have already had children. So their cervix has already been stretched out and then gone back down. And so it's a lot more flexible, pliable than mine. But if you haven't had kids and you know that you have a tiny cervix, just be prepared that you might have contractions. I've been getting caught up on all my movies and stuff. It's just laying around a lot and reading. And what else? Okay, so New Year's Eve, we don't really want to spend money anyway because we're about to move, and that's so insanely expensive. So we decided we're just going to stay home. What we ended up doing was we had a Yellowstone marathon. If you've seen that show, let me know. We just love it. It's very fun to watch, and it's a totally different way of life than we have here in a city, but it is enjoyable, and it's kind of a fun escape from our lives that we lead. I hope that you had a better Christmas than I did. And I hope that you had a nice, safe New Year's. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you did for the holidays. I know a lot of people have New Year's resolutions. I don't really believe in that because I just think it's one of those things where when I've had resolutions, they last a week and then they're gone. So I kind of like to have goals for the year. And the goals that I have, I mentioned this on my book channel, but just in case you don't watch my book channel, I want to stop comparing myself to other people as much. I think that it's a very negative thing to constantly compare oneself to other people. I, like a lot of people, can find a multitude of ways that other people are better than me, and I can really make myself feel like I'm less than or not enough. I'm actually quite talented at making myself feel that way, but I've been doing it my whole life, and I'm working on it, but it's going to take a while to master that. But it does lead to jealousy too, feeling like somebody has what I don't have, or somebody's better than me in some way. I get like that with YouTube a lot, where some of these pages, I'll go to them and the person will have like this perfect long curly hair that you can tell they took 2 hours to do, and their makeup is done all nice, and they're skinny, and they have cute clothes on, and they have the perfect background, and their lighting is perfect, and it looks professionally done, and it's hard to not feel less than when I watch stuff like that, right? Because I have clutter behind me, and I actually get dust in my house that I have to clean away, or it's, it seems like these people live in homes that aren't even really homes. They seem like a dream home on like some kind of, do you remember the Street of Dreams? I don't know if they still have those, but we used to go to those sometimes, my mom and I. The Street of Dreams, and they'd have all these houses that were immaculately designed inside and decorated beautifully. That's kind of what a lot of the people's houses look like on YouTube, and to me that's not really how people live. But I compare myself to them for that, or just stupid things like that, or maybe somebody that's a friend of mine on Facebook gets all these comments on every post they do, and I feel like nobody ever responds at all to anything I do, so then I feel like I'm less than them because I'm not as likable, or what I mean, just stupid stuff like that. And that's why I think it's important every year to clean up the social media that I have and just delete all the pages that make me feel less than, or mute people that maybe I'm friends with or family members of that, I don't want them to be offended if I've unfriended them, so I just kind of unfollow or mute, and they don't even know that. But I have done that with people because sometimes I do feel bad about, myself. And it's hard not to, I think, because I think on social media, people tend to brag a lot. People are showing the highlights of their life or the best parts of their day. People don't show how many dishes they have in the sink, or how high the laundry pile is, or maybe they're crying themselves to sleep about something. People don't show that kind of stuff. And so it's so easy to get jealous and down about other people's lives being so great. But, and then part of not comparing myself to other people as much is I'm trying to really concentrate on what I'm grateful for, what my blessings are, and so on and so forth. And logically, I know that there's nothing wrong with me and that, I'm not this horrible person. And I know I shouldn't compare myself to other people, but I'm just being really honest about it. This is something that I do. The second one is I want to be more of a go-getter at work. I just want to be more motivated. During the lockdowns, my business that I run just completely, basically stopped functioning altogether. It got to the point where I almost shut it down because I didn't know if it was ever going to come back and have business again. And it has, thank God. But it's taking me a while after getting so used to being super lazy every day. It's taking me a while to get used to working as hard as I used to. And I have been working and I have been trying to achieve and all that, but I just want to be a little bit more of a go-getter. I want to stay up to date on my bookkeeping and my paperwork, which I haven't been very good about that. So I just need to be a little bit more on top of things. And then my third goal is to get healthier. I had some health problems that, as you guys know, I've told you this before, I had really bad anemia, and it was in my bones. And in your bones, I never knew this, but in our bones, we store iron, and my numbers were almost at 0. It was, the number was like a 3, and it's supposed to be way higher than that. I think it's like 100 or something like that. So it was severe. And I didn't know that because if you just do a regular anemia test, when you prick your finger, it's not going to show that. It doesn't test that number. It just tests what's in your blood system right now, not what you have in reserve in your bones. And so I didn't know why I felt so lethargic all the time. I just thought I was lazy. And it turns out I wasn't. It was just really was something going on. In that time, though, I gained a lot of weight. And I'm not real happy about that. And I want to reverse it. And so I have been, now I'm working with my doctor on it to lose weight. And I want to get healthy. I want to, get in shape again so I can be more active. And so that's my third goal of the year, is to lose my weight and get in shape and be as healthy as I can be. I think health is very important because this is the only body that I have to live in. For the rest of my life, I'm going to be in this body, so I really need to take care of it. And that's it. So you're welcome to let me know also down in the comments what your goals or resolutions are for 2022. And one other thing, I'm so sad. On New Year's Eve, my mom sent me a message that Betty White passed away. And you guys know I love the Golden Girls, and I'm so sad that the last one has passed away, and I just think it's sad. I just didn't think Betty White was, one of the people that was going to die. She was so old, and she's been alive my whole life. She's always been around, so. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night. I love you. Bye.